Hey, this is Alexa Peterson. I'm going to be doing the swing analysis on Hunter Renfroe from the Padres. He's currently hitting 227, so not anything spectacular, but what's important about this at-bat is that he came in bottom of the ninth, 2 outs, bases loaded, and his team was down by 1 run, and he hit a walk-off grand slam. So as a pinch hitter, it's so important to be able to come in and be ready to go right from the very first pitch. And the first pitch he did end up taking for a strike, but this next pitch he just was all over it. And so he was very aggressive in the zone with this pitch and wasn't looking just to, just put the ball in play type thing. He was up there to have a quality, good, hard contact, have a good at-bat all around. So let's take a look at his swing. Starting stance, he's a little bit upright, some bend in his front knee and his back knee. He starts with his front foot open. His hands are a little bit higher, just above his back shoulder right there. You see his front shoulder slightly lower than his back shoulder. Well balanced, his eyes, chin, and nose are all in a straight line kind of by his front shoulder right there. We go into the load. He has some good pre-pitch movement there. It's good to have some kind of movement with your hands versus being totally stagnant, no movement at all. It helps hitters to have a little bit of pre-pitch movement to be able to know when to start their load and be on time to help them with their timing. So we go into the load, front shoulder's working down, back shoulder's working up a little bit. His barrel starts working more vertical as he gets to the peak part of his load right there. If we look at the side view here, we see that front shoulder working down and in. One more movement with his barrel, one more big movement with his barrel working vertical. Goes forward into his launch position. We see that front shoulder down and in, knob down towards the catcher. His head is pretty well centered over in the middle of his body. Good distance between his feet. A little bit of bend in his front knee to help with adjustability for different speeds and locations of pitches. And you can see he's got that good torso tilt, almost like he's hip hinged over, whatever you'd like to call it. And his hands are up and back with his hips slightly open. That's a huge thing that we need to have as hitters. Have our hands up and back still, somewhere by the back foot. We can't have those hands leak forward and start pushing towards the ball. So if we go over here to his launch position right there, check out that torso tilt or hip hinge. His eyes are over his toes, and that's going to help you be able to rotate and turn but still be on the plane of the pitch. If you come in and you get to your launch position right there and you're vertical, you're going to be really around the ball. So from his launch position, you really see his belt buckle start turning towards the pitcher. His knee kind of opens up a little bit that way. Belt buckle is at the pitcher before contact. Back shoulder's dropping, front shoulder's working up. That barrel's working behind his body. He's not pushing his hands towards the ball. So you can see his hands are back here still, but his hips are turning. And so that's what we want. We want to have those hips going and then the barrel coming through. You can see from this front view, hips turning, palm up, palm down right at contact. Great position there. You can see that tilt of the shoulders, tilt of the spine. So he gets close to contact. You see his back foot coming off of the ground and moving forward. Not every hitter will move that far forward, but we do need to make sure that back foot becomes weightless. So maybe you're a hitter that you just come up on your toe and you come right back down right there. That's perfectly fine. He comes up and moves forward some, and then he catches himself back there after the swing. Inside pitch, you see him finishing. His back is towards home plate. That's something that we see amongst a lot of elite hitters, that when their hips are rotating all the way around, especially on inside pitches. It's not every pitch. Sometimes, if you're late on a pitch, there might be a time where you don't rotate all the way. But those pitches that were right on time, especially on inside pitches, we got to make sure we rotate our hips all the way. So that's when we typically see those that back ending by facing towards home plate. Great extension. It's a really great swing here. So again, super important. If you're a hitter that isn't an everyday hitter, you're, maybe you were a starter at the beginning of the season and towards the end you've lost your spot, you haven't been producing, you have to make sure that you make the most out of every opportunity that you have. There's no time for a pity party. you got to be focused on, getting your timing off of the pitcher that you're going to be facing. You should be engaged in the game, trying to get an edge in case you get that opportunity to get up to bat, rather than, oh crap, I got to figure out what this pitcher is throwing. Try to think in advance and be prepared in advance. If you're not a starting player, make sure that you are always paying attention to the game so that you'll be ready when your time comes to get into the box. And you can, in the bottom of the ninth inning, this was a huge pressure situation, but he looked very calm, very relaxed. His in between pitches, he looked calm and he was doing his routine. It's so important as a pinch hitter that you have that mindset that you're going to go in and do damage. This is just a typical situation. There's no pressure, game on the line, none of that. You got to be focused on yourself, breathing, seeing balls and strikes, and swinging hard. That's exactly what he did. So yeah, there's your swing analysis of him.